With Epona back, you can now jump over this gate, leading to Great Bay. It should look familiar if you've ever played Smash Bros. In this fishhook building is a creepy old man who says something about Zoras and eggs. Nearby though in the water is an injured Zora, Macau. He was a guitarist for a Zora band, the Indigo, and his girlfriend Lulu is the lead singer for the band. Recently, his girlfriend laid eggs, some special eggs with a secret power. They were stolen by some pirates, and when Macau went to rescue his children, he was gravely injured. On shore, he sings one last song and dies. Like with Darmani, playing the Song of Healing heals his soul, with his last moments being a flood of memories of his loved ones. His body then turns into a mask, entrusting Link with resolving his unsettled business. Also, Link somehow manages to dig a grave for him. That is something a child should never have to do, and if he was a real-life kid, I wonder how traumatized he'd be. The Zora Mask transforms Link into a Zora. In this form, you get some of the best swimming mechanics in any Zelda game or 3D game in general. There's no oxygen meter to drown, you can swim really fast, have a shield to hurt enemies while swimming, and most of all, it's fun to control, well, most of the time. When you first start swimming, there's a little moment where it's a bit awkward to control, but once you get some distance, it's easy to move around. For an attack, you have a Boomerang, which is almost identical to the Boomerang from other Zelda games, as well as a direct fin attack, kind of like a sword attack. Out of all the transformation masks, this is my favorite, or second favorite actually, but I'll go over that in the last episode. I just love how fast paced and how you have so many smooth movements while playing as a Zora. Combat is great. As a Deku, there's not really much you can do for attacking, while as a Goron you move super slowly, while the Zora has a nice balance between speed and offense. Off in the distance is Macau's home, Zora Hall. Here you can talk to his old band members, although unlike Darmani, no one else knows of his death. His girlfriend Lulu is so depressed with losing her eggs that she lost her voice, and to make matters worse, that creepy old man says that with the current weather conditions, if those eggs aren't brought back to the aquarium to hatch, they'll all die. Also, everyone wants Lulu, and it's kind of creepy, honestly. This guy stands by her door, tons of Zora make creepy comments about her, and there's the Deku script living in her room. This is why I'll never date anyone famous. Now, on to save those eggs from the Gerudo pirates, yeah. In Termina, the Gerudo exist and they're pirates, for whatever reason. Getting the stone mask is a good idea since it makes Link invisible to the Gerudo. Otherwise, you have to dodge being seen by them or else you get kicked out and have to redo a bit of the fortress again. This isn't a dungeon though, it's mostly point A to point B, with a few small puzzles here and there. At the top of the fort, the leader of the pirates finally reveals their plan and motive for stealing the eggs. The eggs are the key to entering the Temple of Great Bay, leading to a supposed great treasure, as Skull Kid told them. However, the Gerudo only have 4 eggs in their fortress, with the other 3 having been lost to the sea snakes. You then get the hookshot, which does everything hookshot lovers love. It's even the equivalent of the long shot, which is nice. With it, Link can now get to other parts higher up on the fortress and rescue the Zora children. One problem, you have to put them in an empty bottle and take them back to the aquarium. At this point though, the highest number of empty bottles you can have is 3, and there are 4 eggs, so no matter what you do, you always have to come back for a second trip. Maybe even 4 if you skipped out on getting the bottles from the Goron races in Romani. Lastly, before leaving the fort for good, be sure to take a picture of one of the Gerudo, as you'll need one in a bit. After dropping the first 4 eggs off at the aquarium, you need to take your Gerudo pictograph to this fisherman's hut to trade it for a seahorse. The seahorse, after being freed, is grateful, and shows the way to Pinnacle Rock, with sea snakes. The other 3 eggs and the seahorse's lover are here, who give a piece of heart, which is nice. One thing I'll cover real fast is with the hookshot it's possible to enter this waterfall and play a Superman 64-like minigame with these beavers. Actually, that's a bit harsh. Controlling movements is hard for a second, but then it gets easier once you start swimming at a good distance. It's only difficult to maneuver in really tight spots. That doesn't mean this minigame's fun though, it's not, and I hate it, especially how easy it is to touch the outer ring of these lifesavers at the start. It's just, and at the start, it's way too hard to get lined up correctly and not hit your head everywhere trying to get through your first ring. although it's well worth the trouble, the reward for passing it both times being a never-empty bottle. Meanwhile, at the aquarium, the Zora eggs hatch into these creepy little things that aren't cute at all. They're definitely Macau's kids though, since they align into a perfect harmony. This harmony of a new wave bossa nova restores Lulu's voice and awakens the turtle guardian of Great Bay, who's the most useless guardian of all time since all he does is take a link to the temple. Great Bay Temple, the quitting point of almost everyone who doesn't like this game. If you thought the water temple from Ocarina of Time was bad, this is kind of worse, in some ways at least. There's no rising or falling water levels or iron boots, and swimming as a Zora is fun. On the other hand though, it's unclear what you're meant to do most of the time, leading to wasting time you don't have to waste. And then there's this part right here, you have to use ice arrows and fire arrows to melt these streams on seesaws to get up higher. I also find myself getting lost way more often than I typically do in Zelda dungeons, but I still like it better than the water temple. Sure, it's a bit more difficult, but not as tedious or long. And also it's easier to backtrack out of it. And compared to the last temple of this game, it is God. I really hate the boss Gorg, or whatever his name is. I know there's a strategy, but I forgot what it was, so instead I just stood at the bottom of the pool like an idiot trying to get a few quick shots in. The worst thing about this whole fight is when he tries to eat you. It's so hard to dodge, so it's a good thing I stocked up on fairies. Speaking of which, the stray fairies of Great Bay unlock possibly the greatest Great Fairy prize of all time after maybe double magic, double defense. Don't know if it's worth the hassle, yet is incredibly useful as it pretty much doubles your health. Like usual, another giant is freed from captivity, leaving only one more of the 4 to be released. And with that, until next time everyone, where we go to, well I know I said my favorite part of the game was like Woodfall and I said it in Snowhead, but this is probably my real favorite part of the game. At least, mostly, but yeah, I know I keep contradicting myself. Also, one thing, in the last video I said something about, oh I get, let's say, what happens at Romani Ranch if you don't blow up the powder keg on the first day. Well, I didn't get to that in my video even though I said I was going to. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite, I know. But basically what happens is, since Romani gets abducted by aliens and she's all sad and you can't get a pony and you can't really do anything, so that's what I meant. Anyway, with that, until next time everyone, for real this time.